Hey you, it's me, Nicole Phoenix Star, and this is the Next Star podcast. Hello, hello, hello. I am recording today from my latest house set location in country Victoria, Australia. Um, just a little bit out of a town called Mansfield, which is the closest major town to Mount Buller, which is a winter skiing mountain and summer high country location. And I'm staying on a beautiful 800-acre cattle farm, which has a farm manager, so I don't actually have to do anything about the farm or the cows. I am here to look after the house and a gorgeous 5-year-old Kelpie called Greta, who spends most of the day playing with cows. So that's cute. Um, it's a beautiful sandstone building. I guess it's 4 bedrooms and an office, which could be another bedroom, but it's very definitely set up as an office. 2 of those bedrooms have en suites, so one's a guest room and one's a master. And the kitchen is beautiful. There's also a billiards room as well as the main large living room, which is open. Kitchen, dining, fireplace, 3 sofas, television, wall to floor, windows to take in the vast view of said high country all the way to the top of Mount Buller. So it's very, very, very picturesque and it's absolutely stunning. And I am super grateful to be here for almost 7 weeks. And after my last week's podcast around moving around all the time and how exhausting and draining that is, I feel as if I've come into some profound alignment of being completely fulfilled, and my lovely host filled the fridge and pantry for things that she asked whether I liked, and yeah, profoundly supportive. And although there is a beautiful fireplace with all the different sizes wood stocked, there is a fabulous central heating situation. And one of my favorite things, which I rarely get to use, is an electric blanket on a bed. Oh my God. One of my favorite things from yesteryears. And when one lives in tropics or subtropics, does not need an electric blanket. So I've been really enjoying jumping into a very cozy bed every night. So yes, I also have a car. It's called a Kia Picanto, and it's just like a little mini car, a tiny car. It used hardly any petrol for the almost 3-hour drive here from Melbourne Airport. And yeah, had 4,000 Ks on it, so brand newish. And yes, it all feels very supportive, and there is not anything that feels any form of self-betrayal at all feels like self-support. I always bring my own saucepan and pan. I have extremely high quality cooking implements because it's such a big part of my life. I also have a quarter of my suitcase filled with supplements and spices and all my vitamins and herbs and spices, as I said, and and I have my own knives, and I even have my own gold cutlery, one set of that I love to eat from. So, yeah, a quarter of my suitcase is always my kitchen. Um, and I have everything I need and more. I feel like I am living in overflow right now. And that is incredible on one's nervous system. Um, my Whoop stats are awesome. My HRV is very high and my resting heart rate is very low. My recovery every day has been amazing. My sleep's been amazing as well. And that's all translating as optimum health and vitality. So I am super, super grateful. And it's been so interesting because I've had all these different ingredients. And I've been making different things. So I've been a lot more active in my Fitness Pal tracking because normally I eat a very small number of meals on rotation, and they're pre-programmed into my Fitness Pal, and I just click one button and it goes all comes out. Because yes, I still track my calories every day, and that is not obviously for weight loss. It is for weight maintenance, but it's also a form of self-love that every time I track feels like self-support in the most loving way. And it's been so fascinating this week. I've had 3 different people that I'm working with tell me that they still have to have conversations with their inner rebel about tracking consistently. And at times it feels like a chore and annoying. And I find that really perplexing because I've never ever ever felt like that, because when I first started tracking, it led to a 30-kilo weight loss and a complete reversal of my hormone chaos and a complete um, calming of my out of control perimenopause symptoms. And it brought me out of extreme unwellness into profound wellness. And so I've always seen it as a partner of mine, um, someone that I get to work with for me and supports me in the same way that I support me. And I don't have any relatable concept of not wanting to do it. I did stop tracking. I'd been, in maintenance for a year, and I was like, oh, why am I still tracking? Like, why am I doing that? And so I stopped tracking for 6 weeks, and I, I just started having little bites of things because, um, particularly when I had Leo full time, every time I cook him a pizza, I have 1 or 2 bites. And if I'm making him, air fried French fries, I would have 1 or 2. Um, I would have several bites a day of something, and I always left 100 calories to accommodate that, which always worked because I was very aware of what 100 calories was like in terms of bites. And that clearly crept up, and I found myself just nibbling a little bit more than I normally would. And I noted, and then quite quickly I put on a kilo when normally I am always the same. I'm within a kilo window, depending on pretty much whether I've pooped or not, um, or, whether I've had some water in the morning before I weigh in. But, no matter what I eat in variations and accommodating, you know, big days and small days and all of that, I sustain and maintain my weight always. And I realized that, um, yeah, like it was messy and it didn't feel supportive to not track. Like, um, I don't, one of the biggest reasons for tracking is ensuring that I have a balanced amount of carbohydrates, a balanced amount of fats, and a balanced amount of protein for my age appropriateness and my fitness goals appropriateness and my life appropriateness, because having the macros balanced makes a happy body, makes a happy nervous system, allows the body to feel safe and not hold and function and be nourished and nurtured. And that is the biggest reason that I track, is for macros, not for calories. But they're the same thing in context of an ideal number. So just by association. Um, and yeah, like, it's quite often when I have been in just regular life and doing my breakfast, lunch, and dinner and snacks, um, and haven't had a pizza day, or I haven't had an out to lunch with someone day, or I haven't had a random day of whateverness, um, that I start getting underweight. And, you know, when I notice that, I schedule a pizza date or whatever. Um, yeah, because it's a system. Like, it's just science 101, and following it keeps everything in the sweet spot, and my body operates beautifully, and it is nourished and nurtured and functions optimally, which allows me to be classified as an elite athlete level health and fitness of a 53-year-old woman who spends 15 minutes 5 times a week doing fun, easy workout. That's it. I walk on average between 5 and 8,000 steps a day, and most of that is from washing out. I of just general life duties. If I'm parking and it's not raining, I always park a little bit further away from the front door, and I always take the stairs when I'm at my parents' house because their elevator is one floor up and down, and it's ridiculous. And I just run up and down those stairs, and it's easy, and it doesn't take much to get an extra 5,000 steps a day. And it's not about even weight loss, weight management. That's about moving your body. And the more you move your body, the better it runs and the healthier it is. My movement is for health. The amount of calories that I burn make no difference to my weight management. That is all 100% governed from food. And again, it's a system, it's simple, it's easy. And if you follow it and do exactly what I say, it works for everyone. But most people have this inner rebel who have this weird thing where they don't want to be told what to do, although all they want is to manage their weight and to be healthy. And it's got nothing to do with the weight or the health. It's the mind mastery that is the opportunity at that time. And yeah, it's a very, very, very fascinating process. And watching people that really want to lose weight and really want to be like as healthy as possible, and they're not self-supporting with tracking every crumb and just not eating balanced macros and rebelling against themselves, which ultimately is self-betrayal. And, like I've always said, I miss out on nothing. I am not on this rigid diet. Everyone that sees me eat just is like, wow, you eat so much food. I'm like, yeah, because I love eating. I'm a foodie. I am a Taurus and I love food. And so I work out how I can get the most food on the plate with the lowest calories, with as much fiber as possible, with as much protein as possible, and as yummy as infinitely possible. And I do. And I am never, ever, 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 ever hungry. I have a sweet spot and it's always satiated. And, people go, I don't know how you're not the side of a bus the amount you eat. I'm like, because what's on my plate and that mountain is half of the calories on your little plate there that you think is healthy. Because you've got nuts and you've got oils, and that is 2 nuts and that tablespoon of oil of beautiful, cold pressed organic oil, um, is half the calories on my plate, which is, alive, fresh, beautiful vegetables, premium protein, and some clean carbs, which quite often is quinoa or pumpkin or sweet potato, and sometimes rice, because rice is one of my comfort foods that make me happy. And there's also the pleasure bank, which can be filled with healthy things that aren't the cleanest, perfect option. Instead of having quinoa or sweet potato or pumpkin, and having steamed rice instead. Like, nothing bad about that, but feels the pleasure bank and the comfort food coziness. So, yeah, I'm still working out why The inner rebel does not want to self-support one in exactly the very thing that they want. But I'll just keep showing up and reminding them that it is self-love and it is kindness and it's your partner in your self-care, self-support, self-health journey. All of these tools we have, tracking your macros is a big part of the heavy lifting outside of your dumbbells, if that makes sense. Anyway, I will be opening up some time soon to bring in some more people that may be interested in a wellness journey. So reach out if that is you. And if not, I wish you wellness always in whatever self-supporting way that you do, and may you recognize where you may self-betray and call yourself out with loving kindness. Thank you so much for listening. I am so grateful. My website is www.nickstar.com, Nikstar. Much love. Mwah.